Hi, I'm Joe Guinan, and I'm here today with Blue Putnam, Chief Economist for CME Group. Blue, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
Thanks for joining us, Blue. Today, the big question in everybody's mind, when can we expect the first rate hike? 13 out of 17 Fed governors expect liftoff this year, and yet CME futures price the odds of a rate hike at 40%. How do we reconcile that?
Well, you know, the decision not to raise rates in September really was a setback for those people who thought it was going to happen this year, because the Feds told us they're looking at China, they're really worried about the very low inflation rate, and now they've got to worry a little more about a government shutdown. So I'm afraid the Fed funds futures may have the edge here.
The Fed says that they are data dependent, and yet maybe the Fed is actually market dependent?
Well, market's a piece of data, you know. Data dependence is an addiction, and it means that you're always going to be late because you're always looking backwards, waiting on the data. So, but it also represents that if things change, they're going to change their minds.
Right. So when they do come, can we expect a 25 basis point hike, or do you think we get a baby step?
I actually think we might get a baby step followed by a sequence of 25 basis points. And the reason we might get a baby step is just that this whole idea of having ranges from 0 to 25, they invented that back in December of 2008 in the middle of the financial panic because they didn't want to say the word zero. And I don't think ranges really serve the Fed very well. So they might get rid of those, go to 25 as the actual Fed funds rate, and then after that, 25 basis point steps.
Yes. So you think the first move might be to 25 basis points?
Right.
And would that be December?
You know, I was thinking it would be December when I listened to Janet Yellen kind of confirm. And then, but I've been watching what's going on in Congress, and the Federal Reserve has to think about the potential for a government shutdown. They have to consider that. And with the House speakership totally up for grabs, the debt ceiling coming up, I'm afraid they're going to find another excuse to move into the first quarter.